Hi, welcome to Gab and Gammy. I'm Donna. It's been a mess, hasn't it? People are just going crazy. I'm safe at the moment. I We are having the stay-at-home order enforced in our county as of 5 o'clock today. Um, and statewide it will be Monday, which I think is a pretty good idea. It's pretty much what I do anyway. The only time that I was going out in the past was to visit with my granny gang at Sowing Seeds. And we've decided we're going to do that virtually on Zoom. Um, it will be meeting on Thursdays. I don't know if we're going to do every Thursday. That's what we used to do, but then we went to do once a month, the first Thursday of a month. So we will definitely be meeting virtually next week. At least two of us. I hope all three of us are going to be there. Um, if you're interested in joining in, let me know and we'll set up a way to communicate where I can give you the room number and the time we'll be there. It'd be fun to see some of you, get to interact with you. That would be super cool. You'd have to have an account on Zoom, and that's zoom.us. Lost my train of thought, but you're probably used to that by now. I guess we'll get started on with our finished objects. This is the same hat I showed you last week. As you can see, it fits a little bit better. I did take out 2 rows of this stitch right here, and I put back this 1 row with the smaller needle, and I might have 1 row less right here. It just looked right and fit right, so I stopped it there. And I have to make a correction. I thought I got a video from Bag-A-Day or Bob Wilson, because that's where I get a whole lot of my hat patterns. And Jaden Stitches. I get a lot of stuff from her and Fiber Spider. But this was actually, I got the idea for this hat watching Linnea on Crafting Trooper. So this is her favorite hat pattern, and I went and I found it. There are videos on YouTube, so just look up Divine Hat if you want to see a tutorial on that. I'm going to take that off because it's hot. Now you get to see my witchy look. I'll just be your witchy poo. Okay. Yeah. That's going in my charity bin. Unless my my older granddaughter, she might want it, because she loves her some purple, and also my younger daughter loved them some purple. She loves her some purple, so it might be going to one of those two. They get first crack at it before charity because it took so much yarn. Earlier this week, I put out how to do my half double crochet simple beanie. I hope you enjoyed that. If not, give her a look if you're interested. And now I'm going to get to, I got in the beanie kit because I was making so many beanies. And most of these are for preemies, because that's where my heart is, because the middle daughter that has, the younger daughter that has all the kids, she was actually a preemie. I had her at 24 weeks. I was just barely 6 months pregnant. And she weighed 1 pound and 1 pound 12, no, 1 pound 11 ounces. That's it. She's 1 ounce under 2 pounds. So my heart is for preemies. And Levine's is right there at the hospital where I actually had my daughter. But that's the granny square beanie. Like I said, this is really cool. You just make your like your granny square, and then when you've got it long enough, you start going, whoops, there's a tail. You start going round and around, and you don't put 2 in the corner, you just put 1, and then you end it with a couple of rows of single crochet. I really enjoy doing that pattern. And then I got this little tiny one. I'm getting some better, that's almost true to color right there. Yeah, let's see if I can switch this light just a little. Yeah, that's better. Had my light too strong. And then I went to make another hat. I made several hats with using this yarn right here. I've got Okay, here it is. There's another hat using that. And then I made a big hat combining the variegated yarn with some blue yarn. This is really thin blue yarn. Isn't that the cutest thing you ever seen? I made that using a Sharpie. I put the end right here in this, right there, and then I just wound it around this Sharpie to get that ball. So I ran out of this yarn making this hat, so I put a little bit of that blue on the bottom. Now I thought that was just cute as you can be. Now the only drawback with making a hat my way is you've got this little divot right here where because you're going in a spiral. But I don't mind that. I like that. It's easier to hide. To me, it's easier to hide than that great big old jog that goes across the seam. San Andreas fault, as Zelda would call it. And then I made this one. It's a nice green yarn. Now this yarn is itchy, so I'm putting it in my wash pile. I need to wash that in some vinegar to get it softer. And then I had some pink. This is all sport weight yarn, baby weight. Let's flush it out. Since it's really light pink, it's pretty. And then I had some light blue that I made a beanie out of. And then my regular oboe, I think this right here is the hat that I made in the tutorial. Yeah. And then I took that green that I had the variegated yarn with, and I made, with the blue I just showed you, I made this hat. It's an adult. Whoops, I put that in the front. You put your jog at the back. Fits me well. Now, like I said, this pattern is highly adjustable, so if you're making it for yourself, you can just adjust the length and the width as you need it. Go back to my witchy poo look. And then last night, I had a little bit of scrap. It was a scrap ball, it was like a small magic ball. Had this in it and some pink. This isn't the same pink I use somewhere else, but that is a pink right there. I love magic balls and making things out of scrap. That scratchy goes in my... That's not that scratchy, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in my wash pile because it does have that scratchy yarn in it and it could be better. I put all these other hats in my donate pile. That goes directly into the bag. I may have to change to a bigger bag because with the stay-at-home order, the mission house where Sewing Seeds usually meets is being shut down. They're sanitizing the whole thing and they're shutting it down, not allowing anybody in there until all this mess is over. And I can't blame them for that because when we get it over, we don't want to go spreading again from contaminated objects in the mission house. And that mission house services a whole lot of people. We have not only our food bank goes out of there, we are one of the contributors to Operation Christmas Child at the Billy Graham Crusades. So a lot of work goes in there, and then there's some ladies that get together and they have sewing where they make different things. I'm not part of that group because I just don't sew. Crochet and knitting are my hobbies, and I want to stick with those because the less time I spend with, more time I spend on other things, the less I spend on what I really love to do. And crochet is my first love. I learned it when I was 16 from my mama, and went years without crocheting. And then when I married my second husband in 1990, I started crocheting again because he actually crocheted. He had been in a motorcycle wreck and he was disabled and out of work for a long time, so he wanted to learn to do something with his hands, so he'd always have something to fall back on. So he crocheted. So we had we didn't have that big of a yarn stash. We had a small one. We pretty much bought by project. You know, we wasn't even thinking about sales. It's just how it was done, because there wasn't that many choices in our area at the time. I think Walmart was the only place, or maybe Rose's or Kmart. Whatever was available back then is what we used. Now onto my whips. I only think I've laid aside my my design project. I want to think on it some more. I may just push that under the table and not work with it anymore. The I was going to say color work, but it's not color work. It's scrap. My scrap shawl, I put it aside till I find the right ball of yarn. It's in here somewhere that I want to put next, because I know I've seen it. It's a medium pink. It's not too light, not too dark. I've got a real pretty neon pink, but I think I might use that and put it in with a shawl for my daughter. That's a possibility with it. It's not quite sure that's what it wants to be yet, but we'll see. And I'm wearing my other shawl. It's still in progress. This is what I've been working on. When I haven't been making hats, I've been making this. It's got to be a pretty good length. Could be bigger, because I crochet quite quickly. I could have done more on this, but I've been obsessed with hats. And I have also been playing games on my phone, and I hate it when I get distracted by games. One time I went and deleted them all, and then I went and brought some of them back, so I may have to go and delete them again. Lord, this shirt. Starting to show y'all stuff you don't really want to see, and I'm sorry about that. Oh, now this dropped. I love this little pillow. I got it at the dollar store. It says no drama llama, because that's what my craft room is all about. That's where I go to get away from the drama in life. I use it on my head. Sometimes I just be laying back here crocheting, and sometimes I have it down at the middle of my back, because I've got I had several ruptured discs. One of them was down at my L7S1, no, lower lumbar. Yeah, it was the L7S1 where the sciatic is. I did that years ago, and it's not got any better. I have a little bit of numbness back in my feet because of that one. It just gets pinched, but I don't want to have surgery on it, and I can't really afford physical therapy. Oh, flattery, imitation is the best form of flattery, or the greatest, or something like that. You know how the saying goes. So I want to imitate my pin hook and needles lady, and tell you what I'm drinking in my QT cup. Isn't it fancy and pretty? I've got Diet Dr. Pepper, which I know is one of the favorite drinks of the Knit girls. You Don't Call Me Les is their name. You probably already know them. They've got quite a large following, and even though I'm predominantly crochet and they knit, I did knit when I subscribed to them, was in my knitting phase. I mostly knit because my hands hurt so bad. I took up crocheting a little bit here and there when I started meeting with my granny girls, because it's so much quicker. It takes me forever to knit anything for charity. And then when I had my neck surgery and my hands quit being numb and hurting so bad, I had ACDF, and so I crochet all the time now, as much as I can. I wanted to show off my Play Birdies. I got these in the mail this week. They're the chakra beads. I got them free. I just paid shipping and handling, which we all know the prices in that shipping and handling, but it still was pretty good price. And although my religious beliefs don't go in with that religious belief, I still think, it don't hurt. It's not going against my religion. I'm not worshiping any other gods. So I figured, why not? If it helps the energy in my body to regulate itself, That's great. You know, the Lord put all kinds of stuff on this earth to help us out, and this possibly could be one of them. I love that little heart. And it don't hurt nothing, so why not? They're pretty. I like them. Zelda NRJ3 has a bunch of different beads, and I've noticed both of these. She has both of those. And there's one of my other bracelets. I got this from Lake Lure in North Carolina. That's not important, but I like it. Ooh, something's missing from it. Nope, it's just turned around. There's a little, see, there's a little shiny thing. I need to take it off and redo it. We'll just lay that over there for now. Talk. Think. I had a friend of mine give me a Santa hat that had the leopard print on it, and my husband washed it, and the ball fell off. So I kept it, and I threw away the rest of it because I've had it for years and years and years. But I kept this in memory, and it's going to sit on my desk and pretend to be a triple. I put a lot of my favorite stuff up here. Like I told you, that's where I got all my cool stuff I can sit and enjoy and look at while I'm back here in my room. And I made more of the balls on the Sharpie. You saw that one. Then this is what I had left out of the magic ball. I may put this in another magic ball. And then here's what's left of the pink. It looks awful blue, but it's pink. That's a little bit better. I might combine these, whoops, to make a baby hat. And then I found a magic ball I was making. This is all variegated yarn. I'm not going to try to show it, but it's got all different colors of variegated, and they're more the darker, predominantly male, but females still love color, with browns and blues, and there's red and pink in this one, but it's not real girly. And I don't know if I'm going to add any more to that, but I plan on making a hat out of it. I love some scrap hats. I love scraps, doing anything with them. There was one, oh, excuse me. There was one time, it was sad that one of our ladies at church lost her mama, and I sent out my condolences then. But the blessing that came from it is her mama had a lot of yarn. She kept some of it from herself, and then she shared the rest of it with us because she knew that we would be using it for charity. When I come in there and see that yarn, the Lord have mercy, I about hyperventilated. Oh, that yarn, I was like, oh. Knowing that I could take some of it home, oh, it just got all over me. And the coolest thing about it is that although there were a few skeins that had the wrappers on it, most didn't. But the best part is that woman had bukus, and bukus of scrap yarn. So there's another lady that she loves doing scrap yarn too. So we split the scrap yarn, took it home, and I've been using it here and there. And a lot of times when I'm showing you projects that I'm doing, I don't know what the yarn is because it's from that stash, or I've got it from sewing seeds, and I just have absolutely no idea what the yarn is. It's pretty safe to say it's acrylic. Rarely work with wool. My socks have wool content, but I haven't worked on them since the last time I showed them. I'd only put one row, so I haven't showed them again. I've been concentrating on other things. Oh, I don't know why my head's itching. Anyway, probably because I had that hat on, and sometimes when I wear a hat I get itchy. Oh yeah, I wanted to tell Marlisha. She asked a question on my one video, the last vlog I had, about the mask that I'd made. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Should be right here. Okay, I'll go ahead and show this while I've got it on my lap. Put the closure on. That right there. I actually, my sewing attempts that I made before my sewing machine broke, this is one of the things I made. It was a pocketbook, and it's got lavender lining. No, I'm not going to get a good view of that. Purple doesn't show up good anyway, and then my camera isn't that fancy. I'm hoping to one day be able to, oh, excuse me again, had to get that. It tried running away from me, and I didn't want to step all over it. Where was I? I know I was talking about the pocketbook and my machine breaking. Well, anyway, this is the mask that I showed last week in the vlog. Marlisha asked me if there's a pattern for it. I did see a pattern online, but she used a smaller hook than I'm comfortable with using. When I use that size of hook, my fabric is so stiff, and I like a looser fabric, so I used a bigger hook. So I just went, I saw how it was basically engineered, so I just engineered it to fit my face. I did the starting single crochet, and then I just measured it till it didn't go all the way back, but it hit me right about there, a little past where my eyes are. And then I just single crocheted back and forth. If you wanted to make it fancier, you could crochet in the back loop, but in my opinion, that would it wouldn't be as solid, but then you'd have to put more crochets. And then I crocheted the length, and I kept putting it up to my face till it went just under my chin and just above my nose. And then when I got to the end of the row, I just single crocheted, and when I thought it was long enough, I hooked it on temporarily and then placed it like that to see if it was long enough. I had to make it a little bit longer, and I got it about right. And then I single crocheted over across the top again, and then I did the same thing on the other side, and I knew how many stitches I needed, so I did the same number of stitches, and then I fastened it off and wove in my ends. I've gotten a few funny looks. Sorry about that. Notifications about the coronavirus in my state are going off in my news app. But it was a super simple make. There is a pre-crochet pattern on YouTube that I want to try, because it makes it a little bit, it expands it, like it has increases, and it's like coming along, increasing along here, and then decreasing along here. So you have a little bit more room for your nose, because when you talk with that thing, it wants to flap down, and that would endanger you. You have to slide it up to the top of the chin so your jaw can flap, and it won't come down from your nose. But I do want to try that, because I've got grandkids. We are, here I go, flipping. Start a story and then have to backtrack to tell the prequel part. Is that with the stay-at-home thing, my daughter has 5 kids at home. Don't you? 3 kids drove me crazy. So I know them 5 kids are doing a number on her. So I usually, Tuesday, I'll get 1 kid, and then Wednesday and Thursday, I'll get different kids. And then every other weekend, I get the other 2. Now this weekend, we thought about getting the younger 2, but we had a trip planned to go see my husband's son, my youngest stepson. My husband wants to cut his grass for him because that's one of the things my husband does for a living is uh, cutting grass and yard work and stuff. And he's pretty good at it. And he wants to go down there and do my son's yard. And normally we go down there, we go out to eat lunch, and Gary does what he needs to do, and then we'll sit and talk for a little bit. But this time we're not going to go out to eat because of the pandemic that's going on. We're going to go down there, do his grass, and chat as far apart as we can get, chat for a little bit, and then come on home. Because we don't want to expose ourselves. And I am high risk. There's several different underlying diseases, so I want to try to keep away from this as much as I can. So I've been staying home. I've been staying in my room. I haven't had the energy or the willpower to do any of the cleaning I need to do there. And also I've had, when I got sad, I get my grandkids. Well, they're in the living room watching TV and playing video games. My husband goes in the bedroom and watches our bedroom and goes and watches TV and stuff. And then I come in here and I crochet and watch stuff on my laptop, or I mess with my phone or whatever I'm doing. My music back here. So we're distance, except for the rare interactions we have to have for food and stuff. Um, so we're trying to abide by that, because last thing we need is to get sick. One of my son-in-law and uh, my middle grandson both have asthma, so they don't need to be getting this crap. My daughter, the mother of the children, she was a preemie, and there was some lung damage with her because of being on the respirator so long. She was on Lasix for a long time, so we don't need her to be getting it either. And then my younger granddaughter in that family, uh, she has had health problems herself. Um, and the ladies from the Pin Hook and Needles group who've subscribed, hello, I love you. They probably know about her because I had her in the prayer chain. It was last year, the year before. They found out that she had a problem with one of the valves in her heart. It had thickened, and it wasn't shutting all the way. So blood was escaping from it, and then her heart just wasn't beating properly. What they wanted to do is they keep an eye on her and do surgery on her later in life. They wanted to do it as old as they could get her to be, because if they did it while she was young, she'd have to have it done to replace that valve, have to have it done later in life. Well, she got to where it was getting worse and worse, so they decided to go ahead and perform surgery on her. And what they wanted to try to do before they replaced it, they wanted to see if they could fix it. So they shaved it down, and it's working fairly decently at the moment. She's off all of her heart medications, like she had to take blood pressure medication for a long time. And I know she's 8 years old, and she was having 7 and 8 years old. She was having to take blood pressure medicine, but she finally come off of that. They keep her on antibiotics because in any kind of infection like strep throat, anything like that, could get down in her heart and mess that valve up again. And so she's at high risk for, she doesn't need to be getting infections because of her heart, and it doesn't work quite properly. It's working well enough, but not perfectly. So if you're a praying person, please just keep her in your prayers. Her name is Morgan. She needs continued prayers probably her whole life just for that. And I do appreciate it. I appreciate the Pin Hook and Needles family for all the love that they've given me worrying about her all that time. And it just feels good to have people who support you, and you're not in this thing alone. And feel free, if you're my subscriber and you have a prayer request, leave it in the comment box, and I will definitely pray for you. I believe in supporting people in prayer. All the time on Facebook, I get prayer requests on Facebook, and I definitely pray for those people. In my mind, praying isn't something you have to do fancy in front of people. You could just sit and talk to the Lord in your heart. He knows exactly what's on your mind. It doesn't matter what you say. He knows what's in your heart. Even if you're bringing someone up to Him, He knows exactly what to do. You're just, supporting them in prayer, bringing them to His mind, agreeing with them in prayer, because that is stronger when you can agree in prayer with someone. Uh, so I do support my peoples, especially when there are requests put in. So feel free to leave that comment, and I'm sure some of my other subscribers, I know a couple of them, for sure will pray for you, because they just Lord-loving people. Okay, that's a good place to lose what I was going to say next. So give me a second here. Oh, I am keeping the country in prayer in general. I had a couple of different friends who are sick. Linnea, the crafting trooper, and then one of my personal friends, she was living in England, and she's living in Australia now. She's been sick, and she was tested, and neither one of them have the coronavirus, so they just have the regular ickies, and I've been praying for them anyway, because that's always tough. I hate getting sick, and I get the flu shot every year when one's available, because of my health. I'm looking around to see if I can what else I want to talk about. You notice I've got my pretties in the background, and there's another one over there. Not just covering my junk, but just giving us something cool to look at. Love that knitted stuff. And here on the back of my chair, this is something I made years and years ago when I was doing all the knitting. It's just like a lap blanket. It's a dark purple, probably wine. I use a size 9 needle with just acrylic yarn. I like to cover the back of my chair with that. That way, excuse me. Oh, uh, that way, if I get cold in here, I can just grab it off the back of my chair and cover it up. Oh, my nose is itching something fierce. I know I'm not supposed to touch it, but I washed my hands recently. When I finish filming, I'll go wash them again before I eat anything. But something else I wanted to mention about this kind of mask. This will not keep everything out. This is more or less to remind you not to touch your face. And it helps a little bit, but not a lot. Stuff can still get through. If someone sneezes directly on you, there are some droplets that could possibly get through these holes. So it's not 100%, but it's something, and something is better than nothing when you don't have something better. I want to make some more of those for my friends and family. When I went and picked up the middle grandson, and we had to go in the store, so I made him put his hands in his pockets so he couldn't touch anything, and I took one of my bandanas and I tied it around his head so that would help protect him. He wasn't happy about it. I said, look, I love you, I don't want you getting sick, so you're going to do this because I'm protecting you. And he kept starting to forget to touch things. I go, don't do that, don't touch it. I had to keep an eye on him because he's one of those people. He's very tactile. He likes to touch things. Even when he was a little kid, when he'd come in the house, we had one TV, typical redneck. We had one TV for watching and one for video games. And the video game TV was down where he could, and he buttons. He constantly pushing the buttons. He just loves touching stuff, and he gets into so much trouble for touching things he's not supposed to touch. He's a mess, but I love him, and nobody's perfect, so at least he's not out hurting people, so I can be glad of that. I'd rather him just be touching things than hurting people. That would be something I'd have to fuss a little bit more at him about. Pretty cute teacup. I think I just might be out of stuff to talk about. And Lord have mercy, I've been talking quite a while. So I'm going to go ahead and give you my wish for you. I wish you safety in this hard time. I wish you good health. I wish you protection from this virus. And as always, I wish that your yarn remain untangled. Please like and subscribe. Everybody's welcome. Even if you're not a gammy, come join my gammy game, because we welcome pawpaws and moon pies too. Until next time, stay safe.